Welcome back to My Hot Kitchen. I'm Wendy, and we have a really yummy, romantic dinner for you to make for your sweetie on your next date night at home. This one, we're going to take a little trip to Greece. We're going to enjoy lamb kebabs, a little Greeked up orzo pasta, stuffed mushrooms, and on the side, a nice fresh, crisp, and bright Greek salad. So let's talk about the ingredients that we'll be featuring in this first. What we have here are some peppadew peppers, Kalamata olives, garlic, fresh oregano, and lemon. And we're going to be using these ingredients in several of the dishes. They're all very nice together, and they're something that you might find in a typical Greek restaurant's cuisine. Now let's get started on the marinade. So you're going to need to start with about a 1/4 cup of olive oil, and to that add about a 1/4 cup or more of fresh lemon juice. Once you've got the lemon juice in there, go ahead and whisk it up really well to emulsify the lemon juice and olive oil together. To that, you're going to want to add a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and about a teaspoon of freshly chopped oregano. You'll get the best flavor if you use fresh. And a couple cloves of garlic. And a couple good cracks of black pepper. Whisk all this goodness together so that the salt dissolves and everything has a chance to kind of be exposed to the lemon juice in a very vigorous manner. Then we're going to put this in a marinating dish and add the lamb to it. Now I'm using about 1 pound of lamb meat. This is actually a cut off a leg of lamb called a lamb steak. Any sort of lamb cut works beautifully. And on that note, really any meat is going to be delicious in this marinade. The lemon just acts on the meat and just tenderizes it and infuses it with such a lovely flavor and texture. So once you've got it all in there and it's had a chance to coat and permeate the surface of every little chunk of meat, go ahead and set it aside. Let it marinate for about 1/2 hour. If you like, you can store it in the fridge, but if it's just going to be a 1/2 hour, it's actually fine to sit out on the counter. And I'm going to clear myself off a little space and move on to prepping the stuffed mushrooms. And these mushrooms are so delicious. They make a lovely side accompaniment, but you could also make an extra large batch and serve them up as appetizers. So let's talk about how you hollow out the mushrooms first. So what you want to do is just kind of twist and pull out the stem. I like to use the back end of a spoon to sort of scrape out the gills. The main reason I'm scraping out the gills is because I want the space for the yummy stuffing ingredients. Now I'm using cremini mushrooms here. You can use regular button mushrooms or some sort of exotic mushroom that has space to stuff. But I think cremini mushrooms do a fine job. Now you can leave the gills in if you're working with extra large mushrooms, if you care for the flavor and texture. I tend to take them out in this sort of preparation because I want these stuffing ingredients to take the showcase. And see, it's nice and clean inside. So the next thing to do is just to kind of mill together the stuffing. I've got some of the peppadew peppers, Kalamata olives, and about 1 ounce to 2 ounces of feta cheese that I'm going to crumble up nice and fine. Feta cheese is a lovely bright cheese that you see in a lot of Greek foods. It's a fresh cheese and it's brined, and that is why it's so delicious. It's also known for its exceptional keeping qualities. I'm going to add in there that 1/2 teaspoon of, again, freshly chopped oregano and just mix the ingredients together. I'm going to go back over here to the mushrooms and I'm going to flip them over so that they are cap side up. I'm going to dress them up with just a touch of olive oil. Just a little drizzle here. And a little salt and pepper. That way the outside gets seasoned up. The inside is going to be plenty well seasoned with the stuffings. There's lots of salt in the olives, cheese, and peppers. Just kind of gently rub that on there. You can see that the mushrooms really soak up the olive oil. It's kind of cool. Flip them back over. And then just simply spoon in the stuffing. And as always, when you're doing something like this, you want to think loving thoughts. Happy, happy thoughts make delicious food. And delicious food makes your sweetie one happy camper. And just want to divide the stuffing as equally as you can between all the mushrooms. It's very flavorful and very pungent, so you don't have to worry about like packing it in there or anything. And again, these mushrooms can just kind of chill off to the side while you make the rest of dinner. Hi everyone, it's Wendy, and I just wanted to tell you about my e-cookbook, Date Night at Home Recipes for Two. There's over 80 original recipes with nice detailed instructions and plenty of tips and hints. It sells for $7.99. Go to our website, hotkitchenonline.com, and follow the links. It's available for your computer or your Kindle. So this is the mise en place for the Greek salad. It's very simple, very essential, very fresh vegetable driven. Let's take a look at some of the ingredients. So we have the cucumber here, and what I did was decorate it up so that it looked like that by just simply peeling off some of the peel and then scoring the peeled sections that I had with a fork. And it just makes it look really pretty. One of the things that makes the salad very distinctive is when the cook goes the extra mile to really step up the presentation. And over here we have the Kalamata olives and the peppadew peppers. If you're wondering what a peppadew pepper is, it's just basically a spicy, slightly sweet pickled pepper. You can find it on most olive bars. If you can't find it, just substitute red bell peppers. Now let's make the dressing first. We're going to start with an ounce of vinegar, a half ounce of salt, and a half teaspoon of freshly minced oregano. You want to mince that together, or whisk that together. Get that salt dissolved. Happens really quickly in the vinegar. And then we're going to add some other fun ingredients to it. A couple cloves of minced garlic, about a half ounce of crumbled feta cheese, and a couple tablespoons of red onion, finely minced. I want to whisk these together. I want to get that vinegar's acidity really acting on the onions and the garlic. It's kind of like a cold cooking process, really. And also, as you whisk it together, you'll see that the cheese starts to break up, and that's a very nice thing because it's going to add a whole lot of flavor to the dressing. Finally, let's add in our ounce of olive oil. Whisk it together to this beautiful bright pink color. We're going to go ahead and add the dozen Kalamata olives and the 6 peppadew peppers into the dressing mix. And get those folded in there because they're also going to help to infuse the salad with just tons and tons of flavor. We're going to let that chill here until dinner time, when we'll toss everything else together and then plate it. So with the salad chilling, we can go ahead and get the pasta started. About a half cup to 3/4 of a cup of orzo pasta. Pretty straightforward here, friends. You just put it in boiling water, season it with salt. I'm using a full teaspoon of salt. And yes, a little pinch of oregano in the boiling water. You want to give it a nice little stir. And you're also going to want to add to it a nice amount of olive oil. It helps to enhance the flavor and prevent a little stickiness. And just boil it according to package directions. Most orzo pastas will take between 8 and 10 minutes. Let's see how the pasta's doing here. So stir. Perfect, nice and tender, delicious. Still got a little texture to it. Al dente perfection. Now, of course, you're going to need to drain the pasta. I'm using a fine mesh colander. Drain it all in there. Use just a little hit of cool water to stop it from cooking. Shake it out really well. You don't need that excess water in there. And put it back into its hot pan. Return it back over here although turn off that burner. And we're gonna Greek it up a little bit. Add just a little bit of fresh lemon juice, just a couple little droplets there. And a little pinch of the ever delicious fresh oregano, a little bit of olive oil. You just want to fold that together. Of course, give it a little taste to make sure you like it. Just a little brightness to it. And cover it with a lid and hold it until service time. And now let's skewer the lamb. Now while it's been marinating, I have been folding it just to make sure it continues to stay coated in the delicious lemon olive oil marinade. And if you take a close look at it, you can see how the color has changed. It's kind of lightened up, almost as if it's been bleached. And that's just the lemon juice doing its best work. The beauty of the lemon juice olive oil marinade is that it works well on just about any meat. I have tested this recipe on lamb shoulder cut, leg lamb steak, and chicken, and it's been delicious with all of them. So let's just go ahead and get these guys on skewers. Look at those delicious chunks of garlic just sitting on there. It's going to be so tasty. And then we're just gonna put them on the grill. Right before you put them on the grill, make sure each little chunk of meat has a little space between it. That way it cooks all the way around. And if you want, you can always, put a little bell pepper or a little onion between them. But I really like them just plain and simple. They're so tasty. Now I'm gonna go wash my hands. So with these skewers on, you'll want to turn your attention to the mushrooms. Now, over medium-low heat, you'll want to warm a little bit of olive oil and add to it a little bit of salt and pepper, because you want the olive oil and the salt and pepper to kind of stick to the bottom of the mushrooms. And go ahead and add those mushrooms in. The basic principle here is just to give the bottom of the mushroom a chance to kind of sear and collect the delicious flavor. That one's a rocker right there. Let them sear for about 1 to 3 minutes, and then we'll move on to the next step. So after the mushrooms have seared for a couple minutes, you want to give them a little steam bath in the form of a little white wine or champagne. Just add a couple ounces into there. The champagne's fun because it adds a theatrical bubbly effect. A little swirl, and then put a lid on them. And so you've seared the bottom, and now the steam is going to cook the rest of the mushroom. It's quite delicious. And so with the mushrooms going, that's about the time that you're going to want to flip the lamb. Although before you flip it, just like any good meat that you're going to grill, you're going to want to hit it with a little bit more marinade. Never recommend throwing away the marinade until your meat's like just about done. Woohoo! Getting a little smoky up in here. That's just the olive oil doing its thing. Oh, those look nice. Nice little caramelization going on. Beautiful. Smells really good, nice and rich and meaty. And then just a little bit more marinade. I'm going to try not to smoke the place up too much here. And then it's pretty likely that the area you prepped the marinade in and skewered the meat in is going to be covered in contaminated meat juice. So take care to sterilize that with bleach or another suitable sanitizing solution. So with the mushrooms going and the lambs on their final side, you'll want to get the salad finished off. So the peppers and the calamatas, the onions, the garlic, the oregano, they've all had a good time marinating in the vinaigrette. So let's add some other friends to the party for a quick toss. I have 1 full Roma tomato. I've just gone ahead and sliced it up. And about 1/8 of a nice red onion, thinly sliced. And about half a cucumber all decorated up pretty. Go ahead and just toss those together. Get the dressing to coat and marinate everything. Yummy. That is quite the vegetable party going on in there, let me tell you. And then take about 3 to 4 leaves worth of chopped up romaine salad and plate it. About a nice handful each. It's going to serve as the base of the salad. It does not need to be dressed because the dressing is so rich and delicious on these vegetables. Just kind of plop these here on top. They come out in a lovely random fashion. And then drizzle any extra dressing around. And then finally, you'll want to take a couple ounces of feta cheese. It's cubed up. Crumbled's fine too, if that's all you can find. Go with that. And these are done. Let's see how the lamb's doing here. Caramelization, both sides, check. Confirm to the touch, means done, check. So let's go ahead and put these on the plate here. 2 delicious skewers each. You'll want more, but nobody needs more, really. Let's turn off that annoying fan. Next we'll plate the orzo. Might need to stir it a little bit to break it up. Plate it alongside the lamb. I think orzo is such a pretty pasta to work with. It's somewhere between rice and pasta in appearance. It's just so yummy. And then the mushrooms. Use a slotted spoon to scoop out the mushrooms and nestle them on top of the orzo. It's kind of a self-saucing kind of side dish here. Really, really yummy. Don't those look cute? Add a festive sprinkle of bright green oregano. And these are ready. So this menu encompasses all of my favorite elements of Greek food. Bright, lots of vegetables, very fresh, and extra delicious. Now because of all the bright lemon notes, it's a little bit difficult to pair with a good wine, so I recommend going the safe route and pair it with a delicious champagne. And call in your sweetie. Honey, come and get your dinner. Hi, handsome.
It's a Greek night.
Oh, you look great. Oh, look at that.
Beautiful as always.
Oh, thank you, darling.
This looks delicious as always.
Yeah, I like this one. It's yummy.
Wow. Absolutely delicious. Look at this presentation.
I don't know what's more exciting, the lamb or the salad.
Oh, that's really good. This is such a hot kitchen.
So thanks for joining me in my hot kitchen tonight. Have fun turning up the heat in your kitchen. And I'll see you next week. Night, night. ladies.